Morning everyone, it's Audrey, Stitchy-Witch42. Today is Monday, the 18th of October, 2021. This is my channel about cross-stitch, life, the universe, and everything. I've been missing from Flosstube for a month and a half. To try to make a complicated story as simple as possible, I've been dealing with stress. I've been dealing with work-related stress. I've been dealing with work-related stress that could have been avoided if it weren't for the miscommunication and lack of communication that took place at my store about a change in the bookkeeping positions. I've been with my company for 36 years. I've been a bookkeeper for 30 years. When I was on a weekend visit with my friend Lori McCleary in Sisters, Oregon in the middle of August, that's when this started, I got a text from my work wife saying there was a position change happening and could we talk? Well, I was at my friend's house visiting, so I didn't call her back until 2 days later, and by that time, because of lack of communication and miscommunication, the caca had hit the fan. And it just spiraled. And hindsight wasn't necessary for any of that to happen if there had been some communication at the very beginning from my store director to both my work wife and myself. But this work-related stress, it got so bad that I couldn't stitch. I would pick up a project and I'd sit there and I'd stare at it, and my brain is trying to be back here at work trying to fix this problem. And I'd put my stitching down. I'd go upstairs to the library and I'd try to do some paper crafting, and I'd get my stuff out and I'd sit there and I'd look at it, and my brain was back here at work trying to figure out this problem. So finally I just decided to give myself space, time, just write it out. Well, fortunately for me, I have another friend who is also a bookkeeper for the same company. And about 3 weeks after this all started, she called me and she explained to me, 3 weeks after this all started, I finally found out what this change in the position was. And it was really no big deal because I've done it before. But miscommunication and lack of communication and stress. So I went back and I explained to my work wife what was happening. By that time, she is still beyond stressed out, which is still affecting me. I hate to say it, my store director, I lost any respect for her that I had because of the way she handled it. Lack of communication and miscommunication. But I was still stressed out. And I've told you before, I have a 45-minute drive one way to work and one way back. And it was a Saturday. I'd now been stressed out for about 3 weeks. And as I was driving home, I closed my eyes. And they popped wide open when my tires hit the gravel and I was headed towards the ditch. Overcorrected twice, got back into my lane, wide awake, drove home. Things have to change. I need to make a change. I'm fine. My car is fine. Nobody was hurt. No damage was done. But it was seriously an eye-opening experience. That was a Saturday. On Monday, I called the hiring coordinator for our company. I explained to her where I was working at, how long my drive was, the almost accident, and I said, with this position change going on, is there any possibility of transferring to a store closer to home? And she said, well, I'll check. And I figured that was the end of the story, because I've been a bookkeeper for 30 years, and when we get into this position, we have a tendency to stay. There's not much movement. So 2 days later, I get a phone call from the store here in the town I live in, from the bookkeeper, and she said the hiring coordinator had called her, and she wanted to know what kind of bookkeeping experience I had. I said, well, I've been a bookkeeper for 30 years. And there was this pause. And when she started talking again, she sounded a little bit more excited. And she asked me if I could come in and talk with her and the store director. So I drove over there and I spent 45 minutes talking with the two of them. Learned more about this position change, which is a position I've already held in previous years. They asked what I was looking for. I said, I only want to work 3 days a week. I want to work 20 hours a week so that I can have my benefits. And I'm retiring in 2.5 years. And I want Sundays off because that's my day off with my husband. And they said, would you like to transfer to this store? And I said, yes. Yes, I really would. So then I had to go back and explain to my store director that I was transferring. In grocery, like I said, bookkeeping positions are hard to come by, so it takes time to, when you tell somebody you want to transfer, it takes time for them to replace you. So it took 3 weeks from the time I told my store director up to my last day. My last day at my old store was October 9th. But those last 3 weeks was an emotional roller coaster. I've been stressed because of the lack of communication, because of the miscommunication, because of the almost accident. Now I'm transferring, and the next 3 weeks I would see somebody that I hadn't seen the previous days, and I would have to explain again all over what was happening, why it was happening. It was an emotional roller coaster. And through all of this, I wasn't stitching. There was no relief to the stress I was experiencing. I don't start at the new store until 2 days from now. I start on the 20th. So it'll be a whole new store, all new associates to get to know, all new customers to get to know. A little bit nervous, but like I said, I've been with this company for 36 years. This will be my 8th permanent store in that time. And then if you tack on at least another half a dozen stores that I've helped out in, I can walk into another store and be just fine. I am transitioning, and it will be good. Instead of driving 270 miles round trip in 1 week, I'll be driving 6. I think I'm going to be okay. So, I did a video and I titled it Unmotivated, and I won't even go back and look at that one because I was depressing myself making that video, and I didn't think anything good was going to come from going back and looking at it to see what I shared with you. I did start stitching again. One of the things that I did during the downtime of not being able to stitch, of not being able to papercraft, is I cleaned and I organized the Hobbit library, the crafting bureau. I came downstairs in the living room. I organized all my projects, I put them away, and I left one project out. I figured to myself, if I want to stitch and I just have one project sitting there and I pick that up and put in a couple of stitches, I would be doing good. And that's what happened. I started stitching and I'd stitch for 5 or 10 minutes and I'd put it down, and then I wouldn't stitch for 2 days. And then I'd pick it up and I'd stitch a little bit, and the next day I'd pick it up and I'd stitch a little bit, and then I wouldn't stitch for the next couple of days. And then all of a sudden I realized it was almost done. So, the project that I left out for myself to stitch is a pattern that I got from Stitch It Picasso on Etsy. She had contacted me through Instagram and said that she would give me a free PDF if I would agree to share it when I got it done and tag her in it. And I've done that. This morning I framed it myself, and this is, well, I don't actually know what the pattern name is. I call it Kissing Skeletons because they're skeletons and they're kissing. So it makes sense to me. I think she might call it Skeleton Couple. I don't know. Anyway, this is my finish on this pattern. This is either a 14 or a 16 count black aida. If I'm going to stitch on black, it's going to be on aida because it's easier. The pattern calls for 5 DMC colors, 6 DMC colors. I used 5. On the flames here and over here, she had another color and I didn't like the way it looked. So I took it out and I stitched all my flames using the same 2 colors as were called for in the pattern. So this is my finished piece, Kissing Skeletons. That's what I'm calling it. But this was pretty much what I worked on for the last 6, 7 weeks, something like that. It's been crazy. It has just been stressful. But I managed to get this one done, and I really wanted to get this one done because I wanted this to be a companion piece to one that I had finished and shared with you 2 or 3 videos ago. I don't know. The last several weeks been stressful. There you go. But I had borrowed a pattern from Anna, Stitch Roadies. Hello from Liz Mathews. I think it's called To Be Loved by You. And I took it down to Silverton Art and Frame to get this one framed, and they called me, I think last Friday, because I think I picked it up a week ago Friday and I picked it up last Tuesday. I love how this turned out. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And my plan is after I take down all my Halloween decorations, is that, oh, this is hard. These 2 pieces will go side by side on my mantle because I think they kind of sort of go together. So, Halloween is coming up. Halloween is coming up, and I have done some decorating around my house, and it's mostly been with cross stitch. Not nearly to the point that I usually decorate my house because my brain has been otherwise engaged. My husband has been working on the front porch. So right now we have new plywood on the floor of the porch. We have tarps hanging on the porch. And I don't know if I'm going to get to decorate the outside of my house for Halloween or not. I want to have Halloween. It's my holiday. And I'm kind of stressed that I might not get to have Halloween if he doesn't get it done. It'll be okay. I'll make it through, one way or the other. Okay, so I got my kissing skeletons done, and I had found that stitching monogamously was helping my brain. So when I finished with that one, I pulled out another piece that I had been stitching on. This is part of a sampler. I had received some happy mail a while back from another Audrey. This Audrey lives in Ireland, and she had sent me this catalog magazine. I know words. I don't know how to use them all the time, but I know words. This is issue 103, September 1999 of Needlecraft. It is a UK cross-stitching magazine because it's got the price in pounds up here. And in it, and I know I shared this with you, was this pattern, the Green Man sampler. And I don't stitch samplers. We know that, right? But this Green Man here in the center. On the next page, they had it by itself, and that struck me, and since I like green men, this is the second one that I've stitched, I decided that I could do that. So I pulled that out as my next project to work on after I finished my kissing skeletons. And in the 1990s, they were very fond of quarter stitches and back stitching, because this piece has a lot of both of them. But when you get it done and you look at it, you understand why the quarter stitches are there, you understand why the back stitching is there, and it turned out absolutely gorgeous. That is my Green Man. I would love it if that was the screenshot for my videos. But I finished stitching it, and then I put it on a paper mache box. I covered the paper mache box with a striped paper, and this morning I cut out a circle and mounted my stitched piece to it, glued it down to the top, put some lady dot trim around there, and I think that this is just a really cute little piece. I have no idea what I'm going to put in here yet, but I'll figure something out. And I was so excited with myself that after not stitching for so many weeks, I had picked up and started stitching again, and I had finished 2 pieces that I thought, okay, I need to pick out one more and stitch on it monogamously and see if I could get a finish on that one. So the next one that I picked out is the oldest one in my whip pile. It is Baltimore, which is a compilation between Ink Circles and Cherrywood Design Studios. You have to buy both halves to stitch the whole. I started this in 2019. And I think the last time I showed you, I was working on the tombstones going around it and telling you that I really needed to focus on those tombstones. Well, I picked it up, and not only have I been working on the tombstones, I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4.5 of them done. I finished all the fencing. I'm now working on the yellow border, and I'm doing the corner bat here. The yellow border will continue down, and there's another bat here to do. I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to run out of my onyx, but I think I might have more upstairs, and if not, I'll go to Acorns and Threads and get it. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 more tombstones to do. And when I get all those done, then I can do the square underneath my needle minder, and this will be finished. And right now, stitching monogamously is working in my brain. While I go through this transition period of going from my old store to starting at a new store, I'm trying not to add any stress to the amount of stress I've had. It would be nice. It would be nice. So, that is what I have been doing. That is why I have been absent from Flosstube videos. There are more things that I would like to share with you, but I'm taking baby steps right now. I'm thinking if I can get through this video and get it uploaded, that I might try to do another video next week. No guarantees, because I would like to share a wool project that I'm working on. I would like to share some happy mail. I would like to share the Halloween Advent exchange that I'm doing with Melanie from Melanie Smith Yarns and Threads with you. I would like to share some of my paper crafting with you. So for right now, this is what I've been doing. This is why I've been gone. I'm not putting any stress on myself to get another video out. If it happens next week, it happens. And we'll see what happens as I transition into this new store. And hopefully things will get back to my usual normal, and all will be good in my world again. I want to say thank you to people who have reached out to me through Messenger, through Facebook, through Instagram, who've sent cards, who've sent me text. Thank you so much. It is so nice to know that this community still thinks about me. I do appreciate that so very, very much. More than you can ever know. It's been a difficult time. It's getting better. My stress levels have come down immensely from where they were. I'll start my new store, and things will be good, and things will level out. And until then, live long and stitch on, my friends. See you soon. Bye-bye.